Hi folks, this page I'm particularly proud of. I was going to keep this bag and actually work it into the spine of the signature, and I was playing about with it and thought, oh no, I can do something else with this, and this is what I've done. I've come up with a box inside a journal which you can store all sorts of ephemera and bits and pieces in there. Isn't that just fabulous? Let's go ahead and make it. Here's everything I'm going to be using. I've got some brads here. I've got my scissors, some tape, my glue, my ink, my lovely paper bag, and the two papers that I'm going to be using to decorate. So I'm going to begin by trimming down this paper bag. Now this paper bag is the kind used in takeaways. I've got lots of these from when I used to do craft fairs. Many years ago. I've got a huge stash of them. So I'm just going to trim this down to level with the base. And I wanted to cut this down just a little bit more. I can't do that with my paper trimmer, so I'll do it with scissors. I don't want to take too much off, just maybe ½ an inch. And now when I come to open up my bag, it automatically forms a box shape. I can tuck these pieces down. The creases are already made for me, so I'm just reversing those in on themselves. A little bit of a fiddle to encourage it down there, but once it goes, it goes. I'll just reaffirm those creases. Sorry about all the crinkling, I hope you can hear me. There we go. And now we've made quite a nice sturdy box. So we're just going to encourage those folds to go back down like this. And there we have our basic structure, and I'm ready to decorate it. I'm going to use this sheet because I like this piece here. I thought that would fit quite nicely inside. So I'm going to mark off with my pencil roughly where I need to cut. So I've got these guys central and go here. I'm going just shorter than the size of the base. Now I can do the same and decide where I'm going to put them. I think I'll lose the bottom of their skirts rather than lose the top of that shape there. So I'll just come down to about here. I've got that cut out. I'll open up my box, place this piece in the bottom. There we go, that fits beautifully. I'll go ahead and glue that down. Matting. Doesn't need much lining up because it's pretty much flush with the edges. And we'll just stick that down. And there we have a base to our little folding box. So I can go ahead and decorate the front. I think I will ink my edges. There we are. Now I can come in with these pieces. I've chosen these because I really like him and he was a good width to go on this side. So again, I'll measure off where I want them to be. I have to lose a bit of his foot, I think. So I'll just trim that margin off there, which takes me to back there. And now a little bit for matting, a little border around the edge. So I'll trim that off. I want to keep her in the centre. I think that's about it. Allow myself a little margin around the edge. I'll go ahead and cut these two pieces out now. Well, they fit quite nicely on there. I'll go ahead and ink up my edges. Now they're inked up, I can go ahead and glue them down. Oh, doesn't he look fine? Beautiful. There we go. Now I'm going to take a couple of brads. Now I don't want to go through all of these papers, so I'm going to grab my ball of string and my bradawl. I use my ball of string so I've got something soft to poke through, and I'm going to open these edges out again. I'll use a piece of paper. I'll measure that piece of paper the length of the box. You should cut it with a pair of scissors really, but there we are, I've torn it. Fold that in half, so I know that I'm halfway here, and I'm going to inset. Let's mark this off so I get it the same both sides. I'm going to mark off here, and that's where I'm going to make my hole. I'll do the same thing on the other side. If you want to use a ruler for all these things, please do go ahead. I tend not to wherever possible. I like marking things off with pieces of paper. Make a little mark there, a little hole. And I'll put my brads through. And now I'll put a little bit of tape over the insides on the top of my brads. I'm using this black masking tape because it's what I've got to hand, just to cover those, keep them in place. Any sharp edges are out of the way and aren't going to come back to haunt us at a later date. Now I can go ahead and pop these edges back down. They'll go down much easier now, and they tend to stick where they should, with a little bit of help needed on these long edges. So I'm going to go ahead and glue a little bit. You can't really see that on the camera, but I'm just putting a little seam of glue to encourage those long pieces to just stay put. If you can see it, I'll do it differently here. I'll just put it along this seam here, along this edge here. There we go, and they'll stay nicely. These short edges stay where they are anyway because of these folds. And that's it. That is our box in a journal. I absolutely love that. And I can go ahead now and glue it into my journal. And I had earmarked this page here for doing that with. I've got a really nice introduction to my journal when I open it up. And you can, of course, get bags in different sizes that have got this same sort of flat-bottomed mechanism. Little paper bags that jewellery comes in and stuff like that, with those nice little ribbon handles. So there we are. I'm happy with that. I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. I'm losing all of this page under here, but you know, it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make for the sake of this lovely, lovely thing. I was so pleased when I was fiddling around with the bag when I was putting the signature together, because it was originally going to go in my signature, actually bound into the signature. And I opened it up and I said, look at that, there's a box there. I can make that into a box within a journal.